Well, everybody, welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. We're getting to work on the front side of the silver single cab frame and chassis, and there's a lot to do, so we got to get started. All right, so we're starting off here with, as far as I can tell, a stock front portion, front chassis section, right? Looks like it's the factory control arms, both upper and lower, factory ball joints, factory coil springs, shocks, etc. It's all, I don't think anything has been done up here except for regular scheduled maintenance. And that's absolutely fine. I kind of prefer it that way because I'm less likely to run into some butchery that somebody else has done. I've gone through and I checked the ball joints, checked the tie rod ends, and checked the wheel bearings, because I don't want to replace parts that are still good. I'm spending a ton of money on this project. There's no need to replace things that aren't broken. And in all of those checks, I did find the driver's side wheel bearing. It needs to be replaced. It's not awful, but it's not tight, so it needs to be replaced. Otherwise, everything feels good. The ball joints are still tight, the tie rod ends are still tight, the steering rack is still tight. Everything else up here I think is fine. We're not gonna need to replace any other components, just that one wheel bearing. But now that you've seen our starting point, I'm probably gonna spend the next 7-8 hours taking things apart, sandblasting, and painting. I want to get both the upper and lower control arms blasted and painted. I want to get the new coil springs are painted. The new shocks are painted. I got to get the whole frame, front section of the frame painted and cleaned up. So there's a lot of blasting and a lot of painting in my future, and that is super boring for me and definitely boring for you. So I'm not going to record it. Maybe I'll check in here and there to show you. Maybe next thing you're gonna see is everything cleaned up, painted, and ready to be put back together. All right, well, it's almost 2 a.m. I got carried away, but I also wanted to get something accomplished tonight. So I finished taking the front end apart. I've got the front suspension all off of it. My calipers are still here. I'm not gonna take those off till I'm ready to put the new calipers on. I've got some more cleaning up to do in here around the brackets and stuff. I couldn't quite get in there with the wet sandblaster, so I'm gonna get in there the best I can with the wire brush and a scraper and stuff before I start painting. But as I went through and started getting everything apart, I realized I did not have as many good reusable parts in this thing as I thought. In fact, this is all scrap metal. Both upper control arms, the ball joints. So here's the thing. The ball joints are all okay, but they are all also worn enough that they're going to need to be replaced soon. And rather than save a few dollars now and be taking this beautiful truck apart again in a couple months to replace ball joints, or if I have a buyer before then, them having to replace ball joints not long after buying it, I'm just gonna do them. I looked online and I'm able to get complete lower control arms with new ball joints in them for like $50 more than a set of new ball joints cost. And for the total cost, it's more worth it to just buy new lower control arms than it was for me to replace the ball joints, sandblast, and then paint them. And then same with the upper control arms. In fact, I found a kit with new upper control arms, new sway bar links, new tie rod ends, a few other new pieces too. And I mean, the price of it just didn't make sense to try to rebuild the ones I have. It definitely didn't make sense to spend all the time sandblasting, painting, and then reassembling. Not to mention, I'll have all new bushings, which is gonna be really nice. So it's getting new upper and lower control arms, both new wheel bearings, all new brakes, new shocks, new springs, new backing plates, new wheel speed sensors. Like, I mean, basically everything except the steering rack itself is going to be new in the front end. New bump stops, like it's all going to be new. And what I accomplished and set the goal for myself is I've gotten all the parts that I'm reusing sandblasted and cleaned up and ready to be painted, which I'll do tomorrow. My camber adjusters, my lower control arm bolts, my shock bolts, my wheel bearing bolts, and my steering knuckles. Sadly, those are the only parts that are going to be reused. Everything else is going to be replaced. Well, the sway bar I'll reuse too. The sway bar is fine. But disappointing. A little bit more money to spend, but it'll be worth it for the finished product. So I'm tired. I'm going up and getting to bed. And let's see, I should be able to get back down here tomorrow. We'll get some painting done. I'll see you guys then. All right, everybody. It's a little after 11:30 the next night. I came down throughout the day today and got my steering knuckles primed, painted. So they'll finish drying overnight. They'll be ready to go tomorrow. This afternoon, did a bunch of stuff with the kids, spent some time with my wife. Today's our anniversary. So we did some things together. We're gonna do more. We have more planned tomorrow since today was a long day for her. I really did not feel like coming down here to get anything done tonight. I was down here so late last night. I really didn't feel like coming back down, but it's not gonna finish if I don't work on it. And I ordered all of the new suspension components I needed yesterday. They should be here in a couple days, and I wanna make sure that I'm ready to put them on when they get here, which means I needed to get, at the very minimum, the upper and lower control arm mounts, the coil brackets, the shock mounts, bump stop bracket. I needed to get all of that stuff primed and all of that stuff painted. So when my new parts get here, I'm ready to go. So it's been like, geez, it's 11:30. 3.5 hours of scraping and wire brushing and scraping and then wiping and scraping and then wire brushing some more, getting all of the gunk and grime and whatnot out of these lower control arm mounts and upper control arm mounts. And they are cleaned up and they are painted. It'll take, probably should be dry tomorrow. Definitely be dry and cured by the time my new parts get here. And at least that part is done now. Man, laying on the floor on a creeper and trying to paint overhead and get all the little nooks and crannies and odds and ends is not my most favorite thing to do. But you got to move the needle. Try to just get some, even if you just do 10 minutes every day. A lot of times just getting started will give you the energy to do a bit more. That was the case today. And now here we are. I'm at least ready to put the front suspension back together when my new parts get here. I'm going up to get a shower, to try to get all this paint and stuff off of myself. Oh, it's not gonna be fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys when I come back down again. All right, everybody. Well, as you just saw, I was out here again last night till close to midnight again. But I got the whole front portion of the frame painted up. Now this is this is almost, I would say, just as intricate and detailed as doing the suspension in the rear section. Just getting all the little nooks and crannies and odds and ends and making sure no matter what angle you look at it from, it's painted up nice and looks good. I'm happy with how the paint's drying. I like the way this looks. And it's morning right now. It's like 9:30 or so the next morning. And I have a little bit of time today that I can work on this thing before we leave for vacation. So I'm gonna try to get some more painting done on this. And that way, hopefully, when we get back from vacation, everything will be dried up and good to go, and I can start putting everything together. So, not excited, but let's do some more painting. Well, the frame painting is finished, finally. I got the whole middle section done, transmission crossmember done, everything is done. Inside, outside, top, bottom, all the nooks and crannies. It's all painted. The middle portion here is still drying, so it's a little shiny, but it'll flatten out like the rest of it. And it looks good. I'm really pumped about this. It looks really awesome. And the little bonus tidbit here is we're leaving on vacation tomorrow, so it'll have a full week to cure and harden up, and it'll be ready when I get back. Although you guys are gonna be seeing this approximately when I get back. So hopefully I'll be able to keep my real-time updates videos going on this thing. That's it for this one though. I had originally intended to try to get the whole front suspension back together in this video. It feels like it's getting a little bit long, and I apologize for it not being the most exciting thing. Painting, it's just, I gotta get it done, and it's just not super exciting. But now it's finished, and when I get back, we'll get started putting stuff back together. We'll get the front suspension on, and then I'll probably get the engine sat in the video after that. So now things are gonna start coming together, and I'm pretty pumped about that. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Until the next video, take care.